Hey everyone, it's Melinda with Tailored and Teal. Welcome back to another What Sold video where I go over all of my sales on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay. And in today's video, we're going over sales from February 16th through February 28th of 2023. Well, this video will probably be quite short because I didn't have a ton of sales. I did have 2 sales on Mercari though, which is an improvement from last month. The first sale on Mercari was a vintage Bill Blass cotton, moderately cropped denim jean jacket. I believe this came out of a denim thread-up rescue box and it sold for $20 and it went via FedEx because it weighed over a pound. And then the last sale was an item that I relisted and rephotographed from 2019. It was a pair of Gap Premium Flare Dark Wash jeans. These sold for $13 and they also went via FedEx because they weighed over 1 pound. So of my 2 sales on Mercari, I had $33 in sales, $5.26 in fees, giving me a profit of $27.74. And I did want to clarify that I do make my customers pay for shipping on Mercari, but I mentioned that they were both FedEx because they weighed over a pound. And I have noticed that a lot of things on Mercari that weigh over a pound don't sell as much or as frequently because Mercari's rates for items over 1 pound is a little bit expensive. So moving on to Poshmark, where I had 7 sales. It's almost a repeat of the first 2 weeks of January. And even better, I'm being completely sarcastic by the way, the first 2 sales that I had on Poshmark, I actually lost money on. So the first sale was a pair of Big Star Hazel Curvy Fit Dark Wash Straight Leg Jeans. I had pulled these to rephotograph and relist from 2019, but they sold before I could actually get to do that. So they sold for $8 with a shipping discount and I lost $1.24 in profit. The next item was a hat. It was by the brand Hat Attack. And it was 100% raffia woven Goldie floppy sun hat. It was called the Goldie because there was like gold metallic flecks within the weave of the hat itself. This came out of a bulk, and that's BULQ liquidation box, but they were uninspected returns. And my cost of goods was pretty high. So this sold for $32 with discounted shipping and I lost $4.08. But it was kind of a large item. It took up a bit of room. I still have 2 more hats from that box to go and hopefully they will start to sell in spring and summer. Next item was a pair of bamboo faux suede black knee-high boots. These things had a ton of interest, especially on Mercari and Poshmark. The reason why they didn't sell on Mercari was because the shipping was so high and I actually had several customers contacting me asking why it was so high. And of course I had to put my customer representative hat on and tell them that these are heavy and the heavier the item, the more your package weighs and the more it costs to ship it. Some people just don't understand. I try to be as truthful, knowledgeable, but also nice at the same time to explain that. But these boots did sell on Poshmark and they sold for $16, which was my full asking price. Bamboo is not a bolo brand by any means. It's a boutique-y, kind of on the lower end of boutique brands, and they weren't in the greatest shape either. So I am happy with that $16 sale. Next is a vintage Nicola crinkle pleated black and white geometric sleeveless blouse. This came out of my America's Thrift Supply micro bale of blouses and it sold for $18, which was my full asking price. This next blouse I picked up at Salvation Army and I normally do not purchase the brand Anne Klein to resell. If I get it in a wholesale box or a thread up rescue box, I will sell it, but I don't pick it up in the thrift store. However, this one was so stinking cute and it was in excellent condition. So it was a blue and white gingham puffed sleeve shirt. It was button front, reminded me of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. and it sold within 3 hours for my full asking price of $20. And the customer did leave me a comment, a love note on Poshmark saying how fantastic this shirt was. So I'm happy that my customer is happy. Next is a Tommy Hilfiger monogrammed small shoulder purse. I did use the keyword Y2K because it was a much smaller purse than what we carry around these days. It sold for $12 with discounted shipping, and the customer asked me to put it in a bag instead of a box because they needed to hide their purse obsession or purse buying problem from their husband. That is the first time I've ever had that asked upon me, but I did put some bubble wrap around it and I put it in a poly bag, and I'm hoping that it made it there in one piece. I'm sure it did. And then the last sale on Poshmark was from my Goodwill Blue Box. It was a gold tone honeycomb statement necklace. So it had this cute little jointed honeycomb pattern to it. Very nice condition. It sold for $15, which was my full asking price again. That sale was on February 23rd, and I didn't have another sale until today, which is March 1st. So that's 4 days of 0 sales days on Poshmark. Unfortunately, 4-day gaps seem to be the new thing. Of my 7 Poshmark sales, I had $121 in sales, $26.10 in fees, $5.16 in shipping discounts, giving me a profit of $89.74. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $17.29. I understand that February is a shorter month. We're missing a couple of days from what a normal month would be, but still, reselling is such a roller coaster. You have extreme highs and you have extreme lows and a little bit in between. Just buckle up and hang on. That's my best advice. So moving on to eBay, where I had 12 sales. The first sale was a lot of 1990s vintage Girl Scout unused badges. These were all from a Pennsylvania troop. It was a Hemlock Girl Scout troop. These were mine back in the day. I was a Girl Scout. Obviously, I didn't use these, so I just lotted them up and they sold for $5. Next was a new Tags Levi Strauss signature regular fit jeans. They were a men's size 38 by 30. They did have some discoloration to them, mostly where the garment had been folded for years and never touched. This came out of a ThredUp rescue box. Not sure if it was denim or men's, but it sold on best offer for $12. Next is an Ann Taylor Loft Riviera mustard yellow geometric print striped shorts. These did run a little bit larger than a size 10, which I notated in my listing, and they sold for $9. Next is a Le Sport Sac brown paisley crossbody purse. This sold relatively fast within a week or two of me listing it. I picked it up at Salvation Army near me, and it sold for $15. Next is a pair of new Tags Old West brown leather fringe Western boots. These came out of my Helpsy Source boot box, the second one, and they sold for $35. I did have them listed for around $50 or $55, but sales were not great, so I just decided to accept that $35 offer. And also the customer lived in California, so they paid over $25 in shipping. So that was another reason why I accepted that offer. Next is a pair of patriotic couple egg shelf sitters. They were hand painted, they were wooden, and they are articulated, which means that their little legs can move back and forth. They're meant to sit on a shelf, just kind of like as decor. The guy had a little bit of an issue with his hat that I had to glue back on. I did notate that, and they sold for $5. Next is a pair of new Tags black lace hipster underwear or panties. These came out of a ThredUp fun box. I have no idea what the brand was because all it said was generic, like hipster underwear. So I didn't put a brand, and they sold for $4.95. Next might have been one of the largest items I've ever tried to ship before, with the exception of a lot of comic books that I shipped out once. This was an Adrian Vittadini slate gray quilted convertible rolling duffel bag luggage. So it could be used as a duffel bag and it had double handles, but you could also flip it on its side, pull up the handle, and you can wheel it around. So it was dual use. The customer paid over $65 in shipping because it was going USPS. I've tried to put different shipping options. I put FedEx as a second option. People will message me and say, why is the shipping so high? I tell them that FedEx is an option, but they tell me they can't see that on their end. So I've just decided to just leave it as USPS priority. So when I reached out to this customer and said, if I can find it cheaper, would you be willing to go with either UPS or FedEx? And they said, absolutely. So this sold for $15 and this was a free to me item. I was able to fit this in 2 long chewy boxes and then just tape the boxes together. And I was able to get it down to $14.20 through UPS ground. So I did end up refunding the customer $45 in shipping. Next up is a wicker woven Southern lady or Victorian lady standing figurine. She measured about 8 inches high. This was a free to me item and it sold for $8.49. Then we have another blouse from my America's Thrift Supply micro bale. It was a Time and True, which is just sold at Walmart. Sleeveless tropical floral print blouse or a tank top, and it sold for $6.79. Next up is a new with tags sterling silver Love This Life chevron bar chain necklace. It came with a gift box. This was given to me as a Christmas gift that I just never ended up wearing. It stayed in the box the whole time. So it sold for $10, and I'm pretty sure that this was sold at Kohl's, so it probably wasn't that expensive to begin with. And then the last item to sell on eBay was an Orion London, that's the full brand name, lavender tie strap sleeveless tunic or baby doll dress, size medium large. This came out of a ThredUp rescue box and it sold for $10. So of my 12 sales on eBay, I had $136.23 in sales. I made a shipping profit of $27.90 because the customer always pays a little bit more than what I have to pay through eBay's discounted shipping program. And there were $42.96 in fees, giving me a profit of $121.17. And my average sales price for each item that sold was only $11.35. Not so great. And moving on to my total sales, where I had 21 sales from February 16th through February 28th of 2023, $290.23 in sales, $51.58 in fees. Cost of goods this time was $76.85. And my total net profit for these 2 weeks was $161.80, which might be the lowest I've had in 2 weeks of sales in a very, very long time. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying not to be discouraged. I'm trying to follow my own advice. Just keep listing. It'll pay off later down the road, but sometimes it is discouraging, especially when you're getting 4-day gaps of no sales on eBay or no sales on Poshmark. Mercari, that's normal for Mercari. The other platforms, not so much. So for all the other resellers out there, I hope that your sales did not fail you this past 2 weeks of February, and I hope you're bringing in that cash because times are tough. Just in general for everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate you being here. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye.